Hey gang, welcome to Two Blokes from Down Under. I'm Simon Guthrie. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Ben Ennis. How are you, Benny?
Fantastic, Simon. And how are you today?
Very well, thank you, Ben.
That's good.
Ben, Season 2 of Two Blokes from Down Under is brought to us by Ken Mustin Automotive for all your motoring needs. Pop down and see the team for Isuzu Ute, Ram Trucks, MG, Jeep, Subaru and Mercedes-Benz. That's Ken Mustin Automotive, 215 Benalla Road, Shepparton. And Ben, this episode is brought to us by Syndicate Engineering for all your structural steel, stainless steel, aluminium fabrications, and even custom trays and specialised equipment. Call in and see Jeremy or Matt at 8 Enterprise Drive, Shepparton. That's Syndicate Engineering, delivering impressive design and constructions. Ben, let me ask you a question.
Question away, Simon.
You ever played badminton?
In the backyard.
How'd you go?
Oh, it's an unusual thing to try and do if you've never done it.
I reckon it's hard.
It's the hardest thing I've ever tried to hit.
Got this little thing called a shuttlecock. I used to smack the crap out of this thing, and the ball, the shuttlecock would go about 2 metres.
Yeah, yeah, just goes and then drops.
Yeah, could never pick it up.
No.
All right. Well, guess what? Our next guest used to make that shuttlecock sing, mate.
Mastered it.
So our next guest started playing badminton at the age of 5. By 8, he'd won his first Victorian title. By the age of 17, he was Victoria's first triple senior champion while still a junior. He's competed at 3 Commonwealth Games. He's won a gold medal, 2 bronze medals. He's competed at the World Championships, and he's placed in Australia's top 5 players of all time and is considered badminton royalty. He went on to run his own sports store and tore up the local tennis scene for a long time. He's a husband and a proud father of 3. Welcome to Two Blokes from Down Under, Mike Scandolera. How are you, Mike?
Look, boys,
welcome.
Thanks. It's actually excellent to be here, but Guffo, now I'm done because you've just stolen all the limelight from me, mate. I've got nothing else to talk about.
That's all the material he had. So.
That's it.
That's
it. Thanks, boys.
That's a pretty good rap there.
It's pretty good. It's a fair effort, mate. This
it's
thing.
Amazing.
So, the old badminton, it's not a huge sport, but it's
no. Look, out here in Oz, it's exceptionally underrated sport. There's no doubt about that. The speeds and the things that's created these days, it's absolutely insane. Back when I was a boy,
long time
at
ago.
My early days, it's a bloody long time ago. But it's the speeds have changed these days, as every sport, everything's sort of intensified now. But it's the amount of training they're doing.
Yep.
It's the biggest key to it all now.
Yeah. So, Mike, tell us, where were you born, mate?
I was born in Gippsland, down at Warrigal.
Warrigal.
Lived down there, moved up here in 1975, out to a farm out at Kingupna.
So you moved here when you were 15, is that right?
15, about to turn 16, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So when did you first pick up a racket?
When I was 5. I could actually walk under the net.
How did you become to pick up a racket for badminton?
At Labatouche, the place where we were, was a little country town. Had a hall, a school, and a tennis court. That was it. That's all that was there. And a huge farming community. My sisters played. My 2 sisters played in the local hall, and I went along, and it was just a love of instantly. I drove everyone nuts. Everyone, all I wanted to do was hit. Just come and have a hit. And one of my best memories of going to Melbourne when I was 6 and playing in a tournament down in Melbourne at Albert Park, the old Albert Park Badminton Centre.
When you were 6?
I was 6. Yeah. That's how it tense. It was just, but it was all pure a love of. I couldn't get enough badminton. And there's the guy down there playing. They were playing a senior tournament. I wasn't playing in that part of the tournament, thank Christ. I probably could have, mind you. There was a guy there who was the number 1 in Australia at that stage called Andrew Wong, and Andrew was my idol. And every time he finished playing, he'd come off a 3-setter and be absolutely knackered. And I'd go up, Andrew, want to hit? I was 6 years old. I drove this poor bugger absolutely to distraction because every time he walked off the court, I'd want to play. I'd want to have a hit with him because I absolutely loved him to bits. So it was a very, very early start for me. And but just really from there, it was just that general progression. It was, Country Week. I was 7 when I went to a senior tournament called Country Week. And it was the biggest event in Victoria at that stage. It was huge. We had about, I don't know, there'd be probably 15 different venues throughout Melbourne. All country people, no metropolitan people. It was all country. That's how big badminton was at that stage, and it was massive. And I was 7 when I started to go and play, and all these adults think, I'm going to belt this little kid. And have you guess what?
Hang on.
So you weren't playing against other 7-year-olds or 10-year-olds?
No, adults.
What do you mean? As a 7-year-old?
It was very rude.
There was no one else your age to play against, or they just...
No, look, I don't think there was, at that stage, because I was from Gippsland, a small country town. Drouin was our hub for badminton then. So I got asked to go, and I was playing senior badminton at that stage at home because we didn't have a junior comp.
I can't get my head around it.
No,
Sorry.
I know, it was exceptionally bizarre.
As a 7-year-old?
It was exceptionally bizarre.
Were you any different size-wise for being 7?
I was quite short up until
really?
probably 12.
That makes it even more bizarre.
Yeah, it does. It was I'm
not calling you weird or anything. I'm just saying.
No, I'm exceptionally weird. Guffo knows that. But it was. I had a natural ability.
Yeah, clearly.
And it wasn't hard work to do. And it's one of the things I was exceptionally proud of. It to hit it backhand. You boys wouldn't necessarily know with tennis, but I could hit a backhand. I was 8, and I could hit a backhand clear from end to end.
Yeah.
By the time I was 8, but it was go to the local hall and hit shuttle after shuttle. I wanted to master this backhand, so I just did it hour after hour after hour until I could hit a backhand clear from end to end. So all those things were just. It was never ever hard work for me
because it was so much love.
I loved it with a passion, and it just gave me so much joy to actually go. So it was very daunting for adults playing against me. The 7 and 8 playing against this little rugrat that shouldn't be out on the court. But again, for that love of, I wasn't daunted by it. It was just go out.
It would have only felt more uncomfortable for them than you.
It was very, very uncomfortable for them. And I still get these days people coming and talking to me, or via whatever media it be, will make contact with me. Do you remember when you absolutely whooped my ass? And I hope I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah.
When you're 8 years old, as an adult, and those people. Unfortunately, a lot of them have bloody passed away.
I was going to say, is anyone still alive?
No, probably not, because they would have been, possibly 30, 35, 40. And so it was, badminton for me was that genuine joy. It was just a true love.
So
that's unreal.
Being such a small town, who did you play against to start with? You mentioned the sisters. So.
Very, very. I very rarely played the sisters because they used to get pissed off with me by
were they any
kicking
good?
Their butt. Sue's my second eldest. She almost made state.
Yeah, okay.
Not quite, but she was tidy player.
Yeah.
Pauline was a left-hander, and no, not so good. But
Hello,
I'll just leave it there. Yeah. Sorry about that big sis. But look, I was exceptionally blessed. Down at Labbatouche, we had a family called the Mullets. There was 13 in the family. They were an Aboriginal family, and they were brilliant. There was 8 out of the 13 that played badminton, and they were astounding. Cheryl and Sandra, the 2 older sisters, were just amazing. From
the same town?
Yeah, from Labbatouche. They sort of lived at the sort of the back. They weren't farmers, but a huge family and just brilliant. So if you were to actually type in, they've held countless amount of Australian titles, and they were brilliant. So I got to play with them and grew up playing alongside them. They were older than me, quite a bit older than me. But with that, and again, that intensity of being able to play with a
tough
with
competition.
A group,
what was
it
it
was
name?
awesome. Mullets. Just try Cheryl Mullet, Mullet, I believe.
So going through primary school at that age with so much passion and time spent with the badminton, How'd you go at school? Was it not an interest at all?
Look,
or you
I
didn't-
loved primary because I was about 100 metres away from the primary school.
Yep.
We lived,
Yep.
100 metres away. I loved primary school.
Yep.
But then we won't get into the discussion about secondary.
Okay.
I hated secondary with a passion.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
But again, by that stage, so I was 12 when I started representing state.
Yeah.
And my teachers kept telling me, you've got to give that game away. You've got to focus
Yeah.
on
Back in that era.
and it, to me, no.
Yeah.
It,
They would have thought it's just a game. Yeah.
And it was never, ever going to lead to anything.
Yeah.
And look, financially, it probably didn't. But for me, again, it wasn't necessarily about that financial side of it. It was the love of a sport that I did deeply love.
So how'd you go socially at school? Like, did you still get into running around kicking the footy with the other kids and stuff?
Yeah.
Or-
And look, I did badminton at that stage through my juniors, through the juniors, so up to what they call under 17.
Yep.
We had under 17 carnivals and state and Australian teams within that under 17 group.
Yep.
So badminton was from probably March
Yep.
through to the end of September,
Okay.
early October. So that was our badminton season through
Yep.
juniors. It really wasn't until we got into the seniors, did I say juniors? Anyway,
Yeah.
seniors, that then it became 24/7.
Yep.
It was have to seriously train if
Yep.
you wanted to achieve anything. I couldn't rely on a natural ability.
Yeah.
So I was, again, exceptionally blessed by having the natural ability, but had to work my tits off to make sure that I maintained
Yep.
a level. So, yeah, look, it was pretty awesome. But school for me, it wasn't a going into secondary, because I've gone from, there was 28 people at Lapitouche Primary,
Yep.
28 kids. So I've gone from 28 kids to 800 kids, and didn't have, shouldn't say it, but I'm a dumbass. I'm not a scholar by any way, shape or form, but I had my sport
Yep.
that I felt that I could achieve.
Yep.
Where did you go to
Through my
secondary school? Did you say?
Druin High.
Oh, you went to Druin.
Yeah, Druin High. We moved up here, it was almost at the end of Form 5.
Yep.
What's that, year 11?
Yep.
So I didn't complete Form 5. Dad wanted me to go back and finish at Shep High, and I sort of said, nah, I'm going to be a farmer and a badminton player. So I ended up, moving back onto the farm and being a cow cocky.
A lot of sports people get asked the question, when did you know that you just had something? But I mean, it sounds very early that you knew, but like, did you know straight away once you picked it up, or did you have to
Look,
work
I
hard
think it's a really good question, because I don't think I knew in myself that I had something different to a lot of the other badminton players. There were some great badminton players that I grew up with, but I didn't realise until I started playing seniors that I had something unique.
Oh, okay.
And it was, again, I didn't want to be a big noter or a big head about anything I was doing. Again, I was doing it because I just loved it.
You loved it, yeah.
So it wasn't about the accolades or what you were doing. It was just that pure love of, and the enjoyment that I got from doing it. And I become, through the seniors, I become an entertainer. And that side of it was awesome for me, because then people had come to watch what I was going to do. So whether it be singles, doubles or mixed, it didn't really matter, but my love was doubles and mixed doubles. The singles was just too bloody hard work. It was, the amount of Ks that you got to cover and the amount of work that you had to do. But again, back then we couldn't specialise. We had to, when we were representing state, we had to do the 3 disciplines. So we had to do singles, doubles and mixed. We didn't have a choice. There was only 5 in the state team, 5 men, 5 women. So we had to be versatile. And again, it didn't please me until you went to play for Australia, then it was completely different, because then I could play my doubles and mixed, and the better I got, the easier it was.
Yeah, it sounds like you were a bit of luck or blessed, really, that you had the mullets there as well that you could actually play with. And
no doubt, because you could aspire to what they were doing. You could see the training that they were doing and their involvement in it, and again their love for it.
Yeah,
and they all had natural ability, so that was so easy to sort of flow on. And they'd want to hit all the time, and they'd want to travel. And we're really lucky too. We had an old guy called Dick Hine who didn't have children, married but didn't have children. And Dick was the type of guy who, if Mum and Dad couldn't go because we had the farm, milking twice a day, Mum and Dad would go with me, but when they could. But we had Dick who'd come down and he'd watch us train. So he was like a mentor. It wasn't. I can't really call him a coach, but he'd help us do things, but didn't necessarily show us what to do.
Yeah.
But mentored us more than anything. And he was awesome. The only downside to Dick, he had an old, I can't even think of what model bloody Falcon he had, but early model Falcon. And he drove between Warragul from Labatouche, because he lived in Labatouche. From Labatouche, when we'd go to a tournament, I hate it with a passion, because he'd do about 40k an hour in this bloody old valley. It's single lane road, and he would get abused by people who were trying to get past us, and he just wouldn't drive fast. He was just exceptionally conservative, but brilliant man. Just and again, for the love of, he'd just take us to the tournaments, take the mullets and myself. Loaded up six in a valley that realistically should only take probably 4, maybe 5, but he'd just load her up and away we'd go. And it was awesome. So, but yes, exceptionally blessed to have a family like that had the passion but also the ability.
Yeah.
And that was just a great gain for me.
Mm. So, the first tournament you ever played, how old were you?
First tournament I played, I was 7.
Yeah, and that was a local one.
Probably Drawn. Yeah, look, there was a place called the Rec at Drawn where all the badminton was played. It wasn't a Rec. It was a half handy place, but it had on the walls an old plaster lining. It was like a cement sheet, and I put myself through it one night.
It's probably asbestos, mate. So.
More than likely. So if I get crook now, I know who to blame. But yeah, look, it's the first tournament would have been, I reckon, 7, and then the following year I won my first state title.
So 7 years old, playing like you're playing against seniors or playing?
No,
against
in that tournament it would have been juniors.
Yeah, and you wiped the floor.
I won. I won't say I wiped the floor, but I won my singles. Yeah. So I can't tell you exactly. It's probably about one of the only trophies that I've kept.
Really?
So I haven't looked at the bloody thing for so long. The tournament the following year, or the state title, I've still got that trophy. That was the one I kept, and that for me was. It was massive. It was a state title I played. I still talked to Pete Roberts. Pete Roberts was was an under-15 Victorian title that I won when I was 8. And yeah, I know it's all a bit insane. But it was, again, that tournament. I remember it exceptionally vividly because Dad was on the hall committee. He was a president of the hall committee, and local Labatouche Hall Committee, and they had this massive fundraiser over the weekend, and Dad was being the president. He was doing all the. I've come home on the Sunday night with this trophy, and he was up doing the thank yous for everyone, and I've just roared up on stage and I've thrust this trophy in his face, and I said, "Look what I've got," and Dad just absolutely skits. He freaked. He just totally over the moon. Couldn't believe that there was that one weekend that he couldn't go to watch me win this bloody state title. Yeah. But anyway, there was a few more to come.
There was a few more to come after
that. We're only 8 here. We're playing 15. There's a few more to go. Don't worry, Dad. There's more to come.
Bit scary.
How did you how did you get to the state titles? Did you have to you were part of a club and then that club picks you to go?
Yeah,
or?
look, Labatouche. No, that it was very back then. It was very, very individual. So it was a Labatouche badminton club. We had I don't know, probably 35, 40 players, but we were the sort of that junior lot, older than me, and you just go. And
they just say there's a state title.
Put yourself in, state title. Do you want to go and play? So we just rocked up and played. So it was dramatically different than what it is now. It's much more regimented now.
Yeah. Okay. So 8 years old, win your first state title.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get my head around that. Did you stay under 15s till you got to 15, or you just?
No, I tried to play under 13. But then from then on, I just jumped into the under 17s. They did under 13, under 15, under 17, and I couldn't see. It's going to sound really stupid, but I couldn't see any sense staying where I was. I always wanted to better myself, and that's why I love playing adults, because you always knew that it was going to be extreme. Like you were going to have to push every time you played. It was pointless playing someone of either my own age, and I'm not big noting here.
It's a fact.
It is, and it was just that I enjoyed playing, and I always wanted to better myself, so I couldn't see any benefit in playing under 13, under 15.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I was lucky enough to get by 12 into the state under 17 team.
Probably more not luck, but the fact that the rules allowed that to happen. Too.
Yeah,
because you can play up in a lot of sports, but then there's still a line where they go,
I think they did that with the seniors. When I first made the senior team, I was 16, and the shit quite literally hit the fan because they allowed me to play for Victoria as a
shit hit the fan because someone else didn't like that?
Yes, because they got dropped for a 16-year-old who they felt
should stick within their age bracket. Well, that's an excuse that you can use.
So we went to Adelaide, my first senior carnival, and won the men's doubles title. And so it was sort of a little bit of, for me,
stick that up.
That justification of, well, I'm here and I'm capable.
That's right.
So,
no looking back from there.
No. So it was just part of that moving forward.
It was just a little bit of politics in the middle.
Yeah, and I can understand it. And I'm very, very good friends with the person that did crack the shits. Yeah. And, it is
how old was
what
he?
It is. He would be now. Jesus, he'd be in his 80s, so he would have been in his 30s.
Yeah. Okay.
So he was an older player that realistically, and look, I get it, but should understand. You've got juniors coming up. If they're capable,
always promote. Yeah,
let them play. It's
for the better of the sport.
It's not rocket science. It's just let those kids.
And probably going back to what you said before, there wasn't really any money as such on the line either. No. So even more reason to not go, well, someone's taking food off the table.
The only time that, all that was, all our training, all our costs, they'd cover our airfares to play state.
As in Vic State?
Vic State.
Yep.
So Vic State would cover our airfares and uniforms.
Okay, so it's an association.
And accommodation. So it was, and so that side of it, and again, it wasn't the financial side of it. I loved playing state and I adored playing for Australia. It was just that passion that I had. Every time you put on the navy jacket for Victoria, it was that sense of pride. Hated all the other states with a passion. Hated them.
It's Australian sport.
They were great mates, but it's like the Kiwis. Every time we played the Kiwis, it was do or die.
Yeah,
simple as that.
That's awesome.
Yep,
I love it.
Hate them.
That's too good.
Love them, but
but it crossed the line.
And it was really it become really intense whenever we played the Kiwis. Even from a training point of view, if we trained against them, you beat them. Simple.
In training.
Doesn't matter. Training session, beat them.
To do what you've done though, you've got to have that competitive spirit.
Oh,
And
you
if
do.
you don't, well then
No, it's no good trying to be competitive, well, to play at that level if you haven't got the passion. And it was really funny. We can go into this later, but when I retired, I never ever thought I would lose that passion. It stopped.
Really?
Stopped. Absolutely stopped. And I knew to the day. I mean, there was a lot of crap going on too, but I knew that day I'm done.
yeah, okay.
Wow,
I'm done.
we'll get to that bit.
Yeah, it was interesting.
So your first state title as a senior, you were 16. So that's a
Senior
state.
state. Sorry.
Senior state,
Yes, yes.
16. Did you compete in all three? Did you compete
Yes.
and
Singles, doubles, mixed. Yep.
you won them all?
No, just
No.
the doubles.
Just won the
the
doubles.
Sorry, the doubles that year. Yes, and
So
the doubles.
who do you take as your
in the
partner
Aussie.
there?
Oh, Jesus! Now go forward. No, I can't remember.
So do
I
they,
have to go back and have a look.
as a 16-year-old, like you're saying, some blokes get jealous, what you said before. That
Yep.
So you go up and say, do you want to partner me in state? So they go, well, you're just a little pipsqueak, man.
It's really, really funny because it was funny to me. With the Australian titles that we were going to after winning the state doubles, and then being selected in the team, the Vicky team. John Clancy, I knew this guy, great badminton player, had a lot of respect for him, but didn't know him exceptionally well. Klanger actually come up to me and said, "Oh, Mike, I want you to play doubles with me. Would you part me in the Australian Championships?" And I've sort of gone, well, hell yeah.
Yep.
And so from there, that was, yeah.
Tight
And
turn.
especially when we won.
Yeah.
When we won the doubles, then it was who do you want to play with?
Yeah. Okay.
And so that was sort of really good lead in because we had Commonwealth Games coming up in 78. So 2 years over. So we had all the selection, losing my voice, we had all the selection to be done within those 2 years. So it was, it all was sort of leading.
You had your eyes on that.
To the Commonwealth Games.
Yep.
So it was, or it become exceptionally intense because I was 17 when I was selected in for the Commonwealth Games team.
And you're in Shepparton at this stage, aren't you? You've moved to Shep.
75, we moved to Shep. So yes, I was up in Shep. And look, Shep was amazing. The amount of badminton players that we had up here. The 75, the year that we moved up, we had 6 out of the 10 in the junior state team. 6 out of the
6 out of 10 from Shep.
5 out of 8 from Shep in
Wow.
the junior state team. It was
Really?
amazing. Yeah, it was awesome.
So it was pretty strong competition.
It was exceptionally strong.
Well, that was good.
Exceptionally strong.
You didn't have
Big
to.
numbers.
You didn't have to travel to find some competition to train with. Then
No,
obviously,
it's sort of again, Benny. That was probably the hardest part because as I advanced, a lot of those players stopped, and so it was sort of interesting in my training because I'd train here, but I'd train 2-on-1, 3-on-1, so I'd have 2 or 3 people up one end, and I was running around like a lunatic down the other end. But again, it was trying to keep the intensity up for me, and I was going to Melbourne Tuesday, Thursday nights to train. So it become I won't say business, but it become far more intense. I'm trying to do the training, trying to milk the cow. So we'd finish milking at about 5:30 in the afternoon, jump in the car, hook to Melbourne of a Tuesday night.
By then you'd drive yourself down?
Drive by that stage. No, Dad.
So Dad was still
I didn't have my licence. I didn't get my licence until I was 18. And then if we go back a little bit more, yes, I was driving because Dad hated driving.
Yeah, okay.
So, but being dairy farm born and bred, I could drive anything anyway.
Yeah.
So, yes, I was driving.
Yeah.
Exceptionally illegally, but
that's okay.
yeah, it's cool. It got us there.
Yeah.
But
But,
Yeah,
but
so-
Dad would still go with you those midweeks to
1
Melbourne
o'clock.
as well.
1 o'clock in the morning, we'd
Wow.
get home
Wow.
after training.
And he'd be up at what time to milk again?
Sparrow fart, so we're up at 4:45, milk the cows,
Fair commitment. How long did
go
you do
around
that
the
for?
irrigation. If we got home at 1 o'clock and I needed to go around the irrigation, we'd go around the irrigation, so I'd get to bed at probably 2 o'clock, up at 4:45. And you don't think that was bloody hard?
I was going to say, was Mum full time trying to fuel you by then, like both of you?
I used to eat like a horse too.
Yeah.
Bacon and eggs every morning for brekkie and a lot.
Sorry to go off
So,
track here, but
Go.
it's 2 sisters,
2 sisters.
no
yeah.
brothers.
No.
So they came with the
No,
family.
they're
as well?
actually older.
Like
They're
older.
8 and 10 years older
Okay,
than
so
me.
they stayed.
They initially stayed down in Melbourne.
Okay,
They did move, but
yeah, but they didn't come up with the family.
But I was
though.
basically like an only child and spoilt rotten because I was a boy
Okay.
and loved it. Loved it up.
Fair
He was
enough.
the favourite child.
He's
I
the
was,
favourite, yeah.
Yes, the prodigal son.
Yeah,
You know
okay.
what I mean?
No, just it's interesting to know the dynamics. Of
Yeah, no,
how
look,
it works in a family.
The
so.
sisters gave me all the backing, but
Yep.
it was because of that age difference.
Yeah, and Mum and
was
Dad didn't need to
exceptionally
separate their time once you were here. They could sort of
No, look,
run
Mum
you
and
back and
Dad,
forth a bit.
Mum and Dad followed me everywhere.
Yep.
Dad passed away in '83,
Okay.
so that sort of. But by that stage, I was exceptionally independent and
Yeah.
travelling everywhere. And
Okay.
doing
I just
everything
brought a
on my own.
photo up on the big screen for those of you watching.
Oh,
How
my
old were you there?
God.
Talking about the mullets, like
Top right hand side, I
Yeah.
reckon that was Sportsman of the Year, and I reckon that had to be 78.
look at the hair on it.
I know. And it actually 12 months prior to that, I reckon it was another 4 or 5 inches longer. And it was a bloody disgrace.
I was
I
about
tell
to say, how do you get around running around in a hot hall with
Did-
hair like
tell
that,
me
mate?
you wore a headband.
You
Tell me
had
wore
a headband, didn't you?
I didn't have a headband. This is
Oh.
the bloody stupid part. And it was longer than that.
Really
and
want to see a photo of that.
I'll find you one. I'll find you one, boys. I tell you.
Oh, that's funny.
It's very, very laughable,
That's a fair mullet too.
Wowzers.
Big.
mate.
So we're about 2 years out from the Com Games.
Yes.
And where were they going to be held?
In Edmonton, in Canada.
Okay, you hadn't been overseas at this stage, had you?
At that stage, no.
Just interstate?
New Zealand, yes.
Oh, New Zealand.
Well, New Zealand, we'd been and played what they call the Silver Bowl.
Okay.
Silver Bowl tournament was an international tournament that Victoria ran.
Ran. So that was with
every
Vic,
year.
not Australia.
Yeah, it was with Vic,
Yep.
but representing Australia,
Okay.
if you wish, because it was an international tournament. We had the Melbourne International,
Yep.
and then we'd jet out and we'd go and play. The Silver Bowl International was our big international tournament here.
Okay. Yep.
And that attracted some huge players from
Other
overseas,
countries?
From overseas.
How'd you go there?
No, they kicked our ass.
Yeah, okay.
No, they at that stage they were very, very early days, and
Yep.
my international exposure just wasn't there.
Was
wasn't there.
was that a bit of a good experience
Was awesome.
because
Loved
because of what you'd experienced in
Loved it.
Australia, and then you got over there and went, holy shit.
Yeah. Look, it is the international tournaments that I couldn't get enough of them here when I was younger. Those 16, 17, 18 through to 20. I just lapped it up
Yep.
because you knew you were playing world class players. It's all right to say that you're number one in Australia. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But to actually play against that level of players, and especially your Asian countries, we're competing against these teams that were training 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. They had one rest day. They were all employed in some government sector.
Yep.
So, and we used to go to Thailand to train for 3 weeks every year, a mate and I.
Off your own bat, or
Yeah, just off our own bat.
Yeah,
But
really?
it gave us again that exposure
Yeah.
of international play, of international style of badminton,
Yep.
but how they train. So you'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you'd do 3 hours training, and it was all running, sprints, all off-court work for 3 hours of a morning. And then you'd get home, you'd have brekkie or brunch, and then you would rest. These guys would go off to work.
Yep.
And do whatever form of work that they would do for 3 or 4 hours. 4 o'clock in the afternoon until probably 9 o'clock every day. You train on court, and you don't think you sweat your ring off.
Yeah.
Over there, you would.
Mate,
Be
it
muggy
was
over there.
exceptionally insane at just how hard they work. But this was the type of thing, we'd come home, and our training back here, piece of cake.
Yeah.
It was just so completely different to what we were attuned to.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it just made that the international tournaments were so important for us because we just didn't, because we're out here in a very, very small, say, badminton community compared to the world circuit.
Yeah.
It was just super, super difficult for us to get that exposure.
Had you done some of those the Thailand ones before your first Com Games?
No. It sort of come a little bit later.
Yeah, okay.
So it was more, I reckon we went over probably 1980 was the first year that we went over. We toured Europe, did the European circuit 84 and 85.
Okay.
Spent 3.5 months, 4 months over doing the European circuit.
Some things were getting a little bit more serious.
They were. They were really starting to intensify, and we made money. We could actually go and make money. The European circuit was massive.
Real sport in those countries.
Oh, well, I'll just give you an example. There was a badminton player called Lim Swee King, Indonesian guy.
Yep.
Swee King was God.
Yep.
He was God. Won 8 world titles. His first world title, the Indonesian government gave him $1 million.
What?
$1 million.
That's unreal, isn't it?
All us Australian badminton players are just going, $1 million bucks.
Yeah.
So did you get paid at all?
No, out here, no. Our representation for Australia was they would cover our court costs. A lot of our training costs when you got selected for the team, but that was very, very short term. So payment for us, no, it was all out of pocket. And again, I'll reflect back. It was really funny because at that stage, I bought a little yellow Gemini, brand spanking newy. Biggest mistake of my life. Great car. The mistake was buying a brand new car. 114,000 Ks in 14 months. It did. And my fuel bill back then was $430 a month.
Back then,
and it was about, I think, 28, maybe 30 cents a litre. So it was $430. And so I wrote to Badminton Victorian Badminton Association then, and I said, boys, I just need a bit of a helping hand here with for some fuel. Can I get some money for fuel? And they sent me a cheque back for $50 and said no further correspondence will be entered into.
Really?
Wow.
Yep.
That shit's that.
So anyway,
pretty bad.
It wasn't about necessarily
No.
the financial side of it because it was just the pure love of. But it's funny how it would have been awesome. The experience for me in 84 and 85 when we did go over and tour through Europe, it was nice to actually play a tournament for some money. We made it to the last 16 in the doubles and the mixed doubles in the All England Championships, which is like a world title. It's the biggest tournament in the world. Made the last 16 and we got £800 for making it to the last 600.
Last 16.
Yeah.
£800 back when? In 84?
84, sorry, 84, and we went back the following year.
Yep.
So, and that for us...
It would have been a few bob.
Massive money.
Yeah.
Massive money. When you don't see anything, when you play all these tournaments and you don't see any dollars. We got asked to go, after we did that, we're actually living in Denmark, and we got asked to go to Sweden to a tournament, and it was a $1,000 purse for the singles. And I was travelling with Darren, a mate again, and I just said to him, I said, well, if they're going to fly us over, that's cool, and it's only a stone's throw. I said, we'll just hire a car, won't worry about the airfare. And $1,000, I said, we'll enter the doubles. I said, you and I can win the singles. And we ended up coming away with good money because I won the singles, and Darren and I won the doubles.
Yeah, nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
How much money did you get?
Oh, about £1,300.
So back then, £1,300 would have been what? $3,000?
Yeah, just on $3,000, I reckon.
Yeah, okay.
And it's so
pretty good money
and,
back then.
Oh, and the accommodation I'd organised, we'd had a friend travel over and actually catch up with us, and his family live in Stockholm, and that's where the tournament was. So we stayed with them. So the accommodation didn't cost us anything.
Beautiful.
They looked after us as far as food. So and this place, this stadium where it had been built by an independent guy who loved his badminton.
Yeah.
It was 16 courts and it was all timber. The whole lot, all the trusses and all the framing was all timber and beautiful sprung timber floor. It was absolutely magnificent. And back then, $2.2 million to build.
Whoa.
Back then.
In the 80s.
It had a restaurant, it had a motel on the side, had about a 10 room motel on the side of it. It was magnificent.
That's unreal.
It was bloody beautiful.
Yeah.
So it was awesome.
Well,
Anyway, we sort of got off track.
No,
there.
that's okay.
No, it's all good. That's the beauty of your podcast.
Yeah.
We can hop and change wherever we want to.
We'll go back that couple of years, though, to the first Com Games. That's probably the
lead.
The first big...
Yeah, look, the lead into it, and it's really funny because I'm still very, very good friends with a lot of the people that I played through that first Commonwealth Games with. And for me, it was exceptionally overwhelming. 17 and my first trip overseas, and we flew Qantas, of course, as they do and still do.
Yep.
And we landed in San Francisco, and we had a stopover, about an 8-hour stopover, and all they've made this big announcement on the plane. When you get off the plane, we go to the motel and we spend this 8 hours at the motel. You do not go out. Yada, yada, yada. No worries. All good. How many of us went out? Yeah, I think there was probably 500 athletes, and I reckon 498 of us all went out, and we, just disappeared all through.
Yep.
All over the place, but it was awesome. But going back, just sort of in that lead up to making the games, we just trying to think. We played Commonwealth Games and then come back to Australian Championships. So the previous year, we actually won the mixed doubles, the Aussie mixed doubles. So that sort of put me in that doubles and mixed category, where again I was just a little bit lazy for the singles. So I would have had to have trained a hell of a lot harder for it, but with what I wanted to achieve as far as the Commonwealth Games or any time I represented Australia, it was really doubles and mix that I wanted to do, not necessarily because I knew we had our good singles players,
yep.
So I could focus more on our doubles and mixed doubles. So with the tournaments in the lead up to that intensified the training. So again, the training, it is exceptionally, when you're a dairy farmer, those hours, they're inflexible. Cows have got to be milked.
Yeah.
Twice a day, every day. You've got up here around the Shepparton area, you irrigate. Sometimes of the year you're doing hay. So it's you're exceptionally busy, and so trying to do that training, and that's why I had to rely on a hell of a lot of people that through stadiums. There was 3 of the main stadiums that I'd try and do my training at to keep the intensity up. So the lead up in the tournaments was really strong. Paul Tyrrell, who was my doubles partner, Paul was an exceptionally intense individual, love him to bits, but every time he went out to play, it was them against us, and it was do or die. Every time. So whether it was training or it was, we have to win.
Yep.
We have to win. Even in your training sessions, we have to win. And it was, but in that lead up to it, we developed a really good relationship. We played really hard. We, I won't say we're unstoppable. In Australia, where there was a pair from WA who were our nemesis. It was neck and neck constantly. So every tournament that we got to play against them, every time we trained against them, it was
on.
Yeah.
So you're
going to die.
You were 16, 17?
Yeah, 16, 17 through those, through those 2 years.
How old was Paul?
Paul's about, he must be 5 years older than me, 6 years older than me.
Yeah, okay.
So, look, there was a bit of that age difference also, and also maturity. You know, I'm a little country kid that hasn't experienced a great deal in life.
Yeah.
But again, it was the sort of the racket that you really had to, it was going to do the work.
Yeah, that's right.
So all that lead up was exceptionally intense. The announcement was made. We went for a 2-week camp in Adelaide, in Glenelg, and again exceptionally intense. It was just because you wanted to perform, you wanted to show everyone just how you could play, and so I could get a Guernsey, and ended up making it. And as they say, the rest is history. So once that decision is made that you're going, then again the intensity goes up because I'm going on the world stage here. This is Commonwealth Games. This is the big thing, and I think that's why it become almost consumed me, because I don't have an enormous amount of memories. Yes, because I'm 63, so shut up. I'll get that in before.
Say a word.
But it's almost as if I was so overwhelmed by everything in that early stages. Walking out to the opening ceremony, people were saying how great it is, and unbelievable. You can be in the stand, but when you're an athlete, that everyone is there to come and see and watch. And as you walk out, my God, the roar. And this was in Canada, let alone 4 years later, it was in Brisbane.
Yeah.
That roar, oh God, it gives me goosebumps now, even just thinking about it. And it's something that I think everyone should try and go and experience an opening ceremony. Don't care whether it's Olympics or Commonwealth Games, but just to experience that feeling. Like you get it off the TV, but it's like going to a grand final, a footy grand final, which has just been. You just thought that atmosphere is it's just crazy.
I don't think you're ever going to get on the ground floor though, Ben.
Probably not going to walk out with the athletes.
Oh no, dude! But like even so, to be up in the stand, it's just it's to actually experience that it's a beautiful thing that you've and it's so difficult to explain because you know that you're one of a very, very few that people are actually going to go and see. And I think that was again the big thing with the games at 86. There was only 43 gold medals, Australian gold medals presented. So I'm one of 43 people that's got that medal. So it's that as part of. So in 78, in walking out to that opening ceremony, you just sort of go, wow, it's just crazy. And then the first day of play, I'm shitting myself, absolutely terrified.
What day did you just play?
What day?
Yeah, like did you like?
Yeah, look,
day two,
we
day
got
three?
No. So we start day one.
Oh, really?
So they have team event through the first 5 days. We have 1 or 2 days off, and then we have individuals, which goes for another 5 days.
Oh, all right.
So where it's again, it's fairly extensive and fairly full on, and you play every day. There's no buys. So it's fairly full on. You might play 2 matches a day, depending on how many in the pool.
How does the teams work? How do you? Because I mean, there's.
We play round robin.
just against what as doubles against?
No,
other?
singles, doubles, mixed.
Yeah, okay.
So there's five matches.
Yeah, okay.
5 matches. So men's singles, ladies singles, men's doubles, ladies doubles, mixed doubles.
Interesting.
So it's full on, and actually we were just talking about it last night. The Queen actually come in. Paul and I were playing men's doubles against the number one pair in the world, the number one English pair, and the Queen come in. So we all had to stop, and she's come and she sat straight behind our court. Now she was going to be there 5 minutes, but our game, it was full on. We were
entertaining.
We'd won the first set, which we weren't expected to do. Lost the second set, and we were in to the third set when she came in. So we all had to stop. She sat down, then we started again. She was supposed to stay 5 minutes, and she ended up staying 15 minutes because the game was so intense, and it was so full on for her.
Did you win?
No.
Damn.
Spewing. No, we didn't place at that stage. We lost the teams and got put out. I won't say early. I think we ended up about 6th, something like that. But and in the individuals, no, we all bailed out reasonably early. But just the best experience.
Yeah.
Best experience of that you could ever have. And
So you said
great.
You said when you walked out as a 17-year-old, very overwhelming. What was the athletes' village like as a 17-year-old?
Oh, mate, it was more the security. The security side of it was like, and
I'm
again,
sure that's the thing
on this
you
little.
remember.
Yeah, no.
You know what he's alluding to.
It's you know all the rumours, and I'm going to back those rumours 100%, mate. I'm giving you the tip right now. It was the best experience that you could ever have, because it's just once all the athletes finish, it's on like Donkey
Party
Kong.
time.
Oh, mate,
You're a bit young to drink over there. then.
I couldn't, and that was at like 17. I wasn't of age. And I snuck a couple of quiet ones.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
But again, we'll go.
He said, "Hey, I can drive a car, or I can drink."
Do whatever.
Yeah, it's just open slather. But it's the athletes' village was at a university, at a campus, and so even to meet, we were with the Scottish swimmers, and just a very, very funny story. We had Irish boxers on our level as well. And I've woken up about 3 o'clock in the morning. Here's this guy standing at the end of my bed, and he's pissing on the end of my bed. Well, mate, what are you doing? No, I'm at the toilet. I said, you're not the bloody toilet. I said, pissing on the end of my bed. Oh, so just did himself up. Out he went. And he'd had a fight the night before. Absolutely punch drunk. He'd had the shit belted out of him and had no idea where he was. Absolutely no idea. He's pissing on the end of my bed.
I hope you changed those sheets.
They did. But yeah, look, it's the experience of it all. But from that security side of it, just insane.
Were you allowed out of the village or not really?
You could go out, but it's just, and it's probably 30 times worse these days, but you have accreditation. So you have that accreditation badge, and this is what it was like even back then. We were, the dorms, there was 3 main dorm areas, and you had to take a lift underground. So all these were joined underground.
Yeah, okay.
So if you come down of a morning and you forgot your ID, come down, once you stepped out of the lift, and because they had armed guards at the bottom of the lift, and then went up towards to where you were going to eat, I'll call it a mess hall, no accreditation. I'll go back and I'll get it. No, you won't. You had to wait at the stairs at the bottom of the lift until someone you knew come down.
They could take you back up.
Send them back up, go and get my accreditation. Because they wouldn't let you back. And outside to inside was the same. It was full on.
You'd only do that once, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't do that again.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. But
all right, well, 17, we go to the first Commonwealth Games. Then we go to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled in at 21, and we are at Brisbane.
Mm-hmm. Brisbane.
How was that? How was the lead up to Brisbane?
Brisbane was we learnt an exceptional amount about the sort of that Commonwealth countries and their skills. Canada and England were massive. They had some of the best badminton players in the world. So we learnt a lot, and our training techniques changed. So the lead up to it was really good. It was again much more intense, but we knew how to train ourselves better. We had a better coach. So the lead up to it was really good. There were sort of Australian titles through those same years. Not a lot of that changed. There was still I think I won my first singles then, but first triple, singles, doubles, mixed. Again, without that sitting in front of me, I can't remember. But the games themselves were exceptionally different in that it was in our own country. So that was a really strange feeling because I love to travel to play international.
Yeah,
my sport internationally. So it was sort of, it was awesome.
Felt like you were doing a state or an Aussie thing, but in Australia,
like a Silver Bowl tournament.
Yeah,
it was like our own
changed
tournament.
the lead up.
But as soon as you arrive and get there, it's again all that feeling totally changes. But again, walking into the stadium up there at the opening, Christ, it was just, and again, it's impossible to try and explain that feeling of how, the pride, that green and gold means so much to the athletes, and I think it's probably what a lot of I see these days. I don't think there's as much pride these days in wearing the green and gold. It's more
the money,
the dollar, the dollar bit, which makes me exceptionally sad because that green and gold for me was absolutely everything. And I know, badminton players aren't paid the squillions of dollars that a lot of these other athletes are, but it's not about the money. It was about that green and gold when you put it on. As soon as you changed, you felt like a superhuman because of that colour and wanting it. So that, for me, that set us up another level. So 82, we've played a beautiful stadium, Chandler Stadium. I want to reflect on one thing and fitness levels. I felt that I was a fairly fit human at that stage, doing a lot of running, doing a lot of physical work and court work. So I was exceptionally fit. We decided, all our wonderful wisdom, one night after training up at Chandler the swimming pool was just next door, so we decided that we'd go for a swim. 50-metre Olympic pool. We decided to chuck a lap and see who could swim the 50 metres quickest. Well, I've jumped in. I've got about 25 metres in, thinking that I could swim okay, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack and keel over. I've got to the end, and I've dragged myself out. I've just about drowned, and I was out of breath. I'm thinking, Christ, here I am. I'm supposed to be a superhuman and fit athlete, and I've just swum 50 metres, and I was knackered. I was absolutely screwed. All these other, 1,500 metres.
Yeah.
Thinking, Christ. But it's a totally different.
Yeah. It's a different fitness.
Sport field.
Totally different fitness. But it was it just really enlightened me on how,
fit is not just fit.
I'm fit.
Yeah.
There's so many different forms of fitness and what you can and can't do, and it's it was awesome. But we ended up through the team event, we played through. Now I can't remember exactly who we played off, but we played New Zealand for the bronze playoff. Got beaten by Canada and went to play New Zealand. And oh my God, if, I suffer with anxiety, and my God, those anxiety levels were absolutely screaming through the roof because we were 2-all.
Yep.
So if my memory serves me correct, we won the men's doubles, we won the mixed doubles.
Yep.
Lost the lady singles and lost the men's singles. It come down to the ladies doubles in the 5th match. Wow. And talk about shit and bricks, I tell you. It was just incredibly, the anxiety was just crazy. I think we lost the first set, won the second set, and we're up in the third set. And I just kept thinking, my God, it's for a bronze medal. Australian badminton never won a medal at any Commonwealth Games.
And at home too.
And at home.
Yep.
And the again, you could just feel the girls lift with the crowd every time they won a point. That people were just going nuts. They were standing up, and it was just super, super electric, and just the most crazy feeling you could ever. The euphoria was just insane, and we ended up winning it. And on video, I've got a video. Darren and I are sitting beside one another. I didn't have any nails left. I just had chewed on my nails completely. We've launched ourselves from about 3 seats back, jumped over the seats and down onto the court and out and mauled the girls to bed. So that was our first medal.
Yeah. So that was the
Games.
teams.
That was the teams.
Yeah.
Teams bronze. But it was like a gold.
Yeah.
How'd you go with the...
Individuals, Ord and I ended up, Audrey, who I partnered in the next games, Ord and I played, and we ended up made it through to the last 16. And again, it was sort of, I guess, overwhelming with the people that we were playing against, because we didn't really have that international experience again. It was sort of overwhelming as an individual. Do we really belong there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do, but in our heads, probably we don't, because we're not playing these people continually. And for me, that was a great learning curve, because that experience, I knew we could do dramatically better. So for the next 4 years, that was our primary focus.
World circuit.
We knew that we had to travel.
Yeah.
We had to start to play a lot more international tournaments, get that international exposure.
Yep.
Weren't necessarily going to climb or get our points ranking through the worlds any higher, but had to play against these people consistently. And that's where 84 and 85 we decided, right, let's bite the bullet and go and do it. And so that was super, super great experience for us. We just, even though Ord didn't come and join us at that stage, it was really only the two of us that went. But it was just the best experience, because we knew that with that growth, we're also realists. With Commonwealth Games, you don't know. It's still that sort of unknown.
Yeah. It's only Commonwealth. It's not Olympic sort of thing. You're not playing the best of the world.
No, and because it's not restricting us, but we're not playing the best of the best. Yes, there is the ones that we did play against. The England's at that stage, the mixed doubles pairs were number 1 and number 2 in the world, so they were highly ranked mixed doubles pairs. So we knew that that lead up and great experience that we were having with all the travel, we knew that we could do well. So Ord and I set ourselves a pact. We decided that we knew we could win a medal. We weren't going to put a colour on it. We just knew that we could win a medal.
Yep.
So rather than, a lot of people said, you should have just said that you're going to win a gold. I'm not the type of person that will set that type of goal, because then if I don't achieve it, I don't want to necessarily be that soul destroyed that I haven't. I've worked exceptionally hard. I know my limitations. I know what I sort of can and can't do. So if we felt that if we do that, then we were confident that we could win a medal.
Yep.
Yeah.
See how it goes on the day. And
All right. Before we get into those Olympics. Oh, sorry, the Commonwealth Games. Before we get into that,
didn't make it that far.
just a message for our sponsors. So, Season 2 of Two Blokes from Down Under is brought to us by Ken Muston Automotive for all your motoring needs. Pop down and see the team for Isuzu, Ute, Ram trucks, MG, Jeep, Subaru and Mercedes-Benz. That's Ken Muston Automotive, 215 Benalla Road, Shepparton. And this episode is brought to us by Syndicate Engineering for all your structural steel, stainless steel, aluminium fabrications, and even customised trays and specialised equipment. Call in and see Jeremy and Matt at 8 Enterprise Drive, Shepparton. That's Syndicate Engineering, delivering impressive designs and construction. So, Mike, we go into, what are we talking now, 86. Where did you meet
86.
your mixed partner? So it's
Audrey Tuckey, Audrey Schwabe.
Tuckey.
Aud lives in WA, has always lived in Perth. So Paul Kong and Audrey Tuckey hold countless mixed doubles titles. They were the ones to beat. And it was actually, Paul didn't make the Commonwealth Games team in 82, and that's where I got to pair up with Aud.
Yeah.
Aud and I had something. We didn't communicate or have to communicate an enormous amount. We read one another's games and we just understood exactly what we had to do.
Yeah.
It was one of those unique pairings that just worked. It was crazy, but it just worked. We just had so many strengths. It was hard to get through us because we could counter most things. It was just one of those unique pairings. We didn't get to play an enormous amount. Whenever we represented Australia through that 4 years from 82 to 86, we didn't get to play an enormous amount. But again, we were just so blessed to be able to pair so well. So when the team was announced, we had training camps through that sort of the 12 months prior. We had 4 or 5 training camps. And then we had 8 weeks away pre-Commonwealth Games. So we landed at Heathrow, landed in London, and for the next 8 weeks we just travelled and played counties all through England, Wales, Ireland, Scotland, and then into Edinburgh for the Commonwealth Games. So again, there was 11 of us in a minibus, hoiking around England. Mate, what just the best experience ever of my life. I drove.
Deso driver.
It was actually, there's a very, very funny.
Drive whatever you want.
That's it. Drive as far as I want and anything I want. But our coach decided to drive, Charles Stapleton, and he decided to drive. So I've gone out of Heathrow and he's gone up an exit ramp. So everyone has screamed at him, get out of the driver's seat, Scander's driving. So he pulled up, we were still going the wrong way. He's pulled up, got out, I've got in and had to correct it all. So from then on I just drove. So we did 1,800 Ks for the 8 weeks. We travelled every day, trained every day, twice a day, played friendlies, and it was just the best experience. Went into Ireland again. We were talking about this last night. It was during all that really mixed up crap that was going on in Ireland, and so we were our motel where we were staying, was 2 blocks from where all the protests were happening and all the cars being burned and
Cars being bombed.
Yeah. Yep. And so it was, a bit of an exciting. We were only over there 5 days. But loved the country. Country was absolutely beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And I've decided, with all my wonderful wisdom, to go and visit family friends who live about 20 minutes from Belfast, where we were. And I was in the van, and I had my Australian top on, my tracksuit top on, and I stopped to get petrol, and the guy's come out, and he's gone, "Take your top off." I'm going, "What?" And he said, take your top off. And I said, "Why?" And he said,
"Because you'll get shot,
"Mate,"
you idiot."
Yeah, exactly right. He said, "There's so much politics and so many things happening here. Just don't show them you're from Australia. Take your top off." And I'm going, "Oh, shit." So, I took my top off real quick and froze my tits off. But, hey, I'd rather be alive than
Pretty crazy
being shot.
times over there.
So I've gone and I've got to where the rallies were. And across the road from their house, there was a vacant block. There's rubble and everything in the bottom. And I said, "What's to go across the road?" They said, "Oh, it was a bank, been bombed." Going, "Oh shit, this is not ideal."
No, that close.
Going, maybe it's time I went back to the hotel. So, but just beautiful place, beautiful people, and super friendly, and we just had a wonderful time through that. So, and we've ended up going from there back over to Scotland and then into the games, and that's where all the fun began.
So you had expectations to win a medal. So how did it start? How did you go?
Individually, it was actually the team. We were coming off the back of a bronze medal, so we had high expectations of the team as well, and so we started off pretty well, and then we had to play Ireland. Jeez, isn't it terrible? Ireland for the bronze medal. And we didn't start off very well. Again, we lost the two opening rubbers.
So who's playing off?
Ireland and us for the bronze. In the team, we lost. Ord and I were playing the mixed doubles. I'm just trying to think who our men's doubles was. It was me and Congy. It was Paul Kong, and I played the doubles. So Paul and I won our doubles. We lost the lady singles. We had lost the ladies doubles. Sorry, no. I can't remember how this all went.
Getting old, man.
I know, it's bloody awful. We'd lost. We were 2-1 down. I remember that quite vividly. And our ladies doubles went on, and we got absolutely slaughtered in the first set. Lost the first set easy, and we were down in the second set, and it was good night nurse. We had the mixed doubles to go. So Ord and I to go as the fifth rubber. And one of the Irish girl did a knee and couldn't play on. They can't substitute, so they had to forfeit the match. And Ord and I went out and won 15-3, 15-2 or something. We absolutely belted them to win the bronze medal. So it was a sort of a bittersweet.
Yeah.
Realistically, the reality of it, we probably shouldn't have won it. But are we going to give it back? Yeah, no.
Not
likely.
Bradbury shouldn't have won his either.
Yeah, it was tripped over. It was tripped over. But look, at the end of it, it was a wonderful thing to bring home. On the Monday, we had a couple of days off. And the Monday, we started individual. So again, my shoulder, I'd torn a muscle in the back of my shoulder. I don't know what it was called. And I was having about 4 hours treatment a day, just trying to get me on the court, keep me on the court. So I gave the singles away because we're supposed to play the singles as well. It's just part of Commonwealth Games rule that you've got to play the three. And so sort of initially playing through a fair bit of pain, just trying to, and I haven't got a muscle there now. It's she's gone. It's good night nurse. but we sort of played through. The doubles were going really well, really strong. The mixed at that stage, we weren't ranked. We didn't have a Commonwealth Games ranking, Audrey and I, again because we hadn't played international tournaments or to get a ranking. But we knew with all the lead up to it and all our travel, we hadn't lost a match. All those friendlies we played, and we played some pretty serious pairs in it, we hadn't lost, and we won reasonably comfortably. And then by the Thursday, it was down to do or die. We got down to whether we'd play for gold or silver or play for the bronze. And
so what's that final six sort of thing?
Final six. And we had to play, I'll call it a semi-final, against the number one English pair. And it was a brilliant match. It was a brilliant match. And the second set, we won the first set relatively comfortably to about 7. And then it seesawed through the second set. It's old school scoring back then. So if you get to 13 all, you go to 5, or you can go to 5 points, which we did. We got to 13 all, went to 5. And it was just a real seesaw. And then there was a shot that went cross court and out, and it was on match point for us. And it was out 2 or 3 inches, and it's one of the very, very few times in my badminton career that I lost my shit. Because the lines person's gone out and I've lost the plot. But Ord's come over to me and said, don't worry, move on. And I was about to go absolutely. Anyway, just sort of settled and went to and fro again. We ended up winning by a point. We ended up winning 5-4. So that was a really big turning point for me, or for us, as far as we're here now. This is real.
Mm.
This is real. So we all of a sudden playing for gold or silver. So it's tin tacks. And doubles with Congie, we lost. We went to the bronze medal playoff. And unfortunately, it was the same day. It was the Friday. Yeah. So it was just one of those games. We played the Kiwis, and look, to their credit, they played exceptionally well. We played like shit, and it was that real downer. I would have loved to have won a bronze medal with Congie.
This is after the mixed one you played?
Yeah, it was a Thursday night that we played.
You were already spent.
Oh, yeah, but I had to come up for the gold and silver playoff on the Friday night as well. So it's you probably, I wasn't thinking about that match the way that I was thinking about
the mixed
the
one.
later, which I shouldn't have done, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. And you try not to think about it, but again, it's there's so many things going through your mind. Holy Christ, we're actually playing for a gold or silver medal here. This is real.
Yeah.
This is real. So, but we went home after that. Went home, restocked, had a feed, sat around, and it's sort of funny you hear from athletes of when that intensity, when they're you hit a court, doing something, and you can't remember anything. Your focus is so intense.
Yeah.
You can't remember anything. It's not going to happen. When we walked on the court, and after the umpire has gone love or play, I cannot remember a point until we get to 13. I think it was 13-8 or 13-7 or something up in the second set. I cannot remember a point. Can't remember it. And the only way I could remember it is come home, when I got home, watching on video.
Really?
My concentration was so intense, can't remember not a point. And I'm sort of sitting at home, days and days later, watching it on video going, shit, did I do that? Can't remember that. Couldn't remember it. But it was we just had such a great focus on the job that we had to do. And we got to 13 fairly quickly. We got a run of probably 4 or 5 points to get to 13. Then I can remember the last 2 points. And I can remember them as clear as crystal. And the last point, it was just crazy.
You're pretty excited.
Oh, a little bit.
I have seen that. I have seen that video. He goes off like a nooner.
Oh,
he goes nuts.
It is. Look, it's euphoric. You can't possibly, and it's also a relief.
Yeah.
It's probably more that massive relief of, I'm done.
What are you? You're 25 now.
Yes.
Yeah, so 25. So he's been playing since 20 odd years.
The pinnacle, and it paid off.
Yeah,
the Australian pinnacle.
It was just a sort of that crazy time of you want to celebrate exceptionally hard, but then all these different things. How is this all going to change? Going to change life? And again, it's not financially. It's just all those changes that are about to happen. All of a sudden, you're a Commonwealth Games gold medalist. Well,
yeah,
Jesus, it's just crazy. It takes so long to adjust to it, and even that night we went out and how all that changes in itself. I've never drunk so much in my life. I've got to a stage where I've drunk myself sober, and that for me, we because of the training we were doing, we never had the opportunity to drink an enormous amount. Yeah. But Jesus, we went out to they had a big disco in the middle of Edinburgh, and above the dance floor they had 4 dirty great big televisions, and as we've walked in, Commonwealth Games gold medalists Audrey Tuckey and Mike Scandolera up on the screen, and free drinks. So what are you going to do when there's free drinks?
Drink them all.
Going to drink a lot.
Did you go out with your medal?
Yes. Is that a good idea, especially when you've got a skin full of grog? Probably not. But hey, that's what you do. But then
were you still in your kit?
No, we had gone home and got changed. Did
you still have the same hair?
Yeah.
Did you still have your mullet hair?
No, I had long hair, but no, I did have long hair, but not the full on mullet, not the full blown mullet, mate. No, but we got home at I remember wandering around in the streets of Edinburgh until probably 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we've got home and we had a presentation, and I don't know whether you guys remember it, but Arthur Tunstall used to have, I don't know, I'll call him a coordinator of the Commonwealth Games. He was just so exceptionally well known, and all of the gold medalists get given a commemorative plate. It's just a gold embossed plate with Commonwealth Games, yada yada yada. And so we've gone to this meeting about 8 o'clock in the morning, and you can imagine no sleep, skin full of grog, and I'm still half cut. And walked into the room, and I've gone to walk past Arthur Tunstall, and he's just looked at me and he's gone, "Big night," and I've just gone, "Fucking huge."
No shit, I just want a gold medal, dude.
Kept walking. Anyway, as we've he's done all the intro and said how it was our first Australian ever gold medal, and how proud they were and things, and done the plate bit, and then we had closing ceremony about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So Audrey got to carry the flag.
Oh, awesome!
At the end, they asked whether they don't allow 2 people, which I think they do now in the closing ceremony.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But they asked whether I'd mind or they said who's going to carry it. And I said, no, you do it. At that stage, I was still half whacked anyway. So we
Not a good look on
we
TV.
marched. No, it was very, very ugly. And then the Saturday night, we, again, no sleep. We went out and in one of the big soccer stadiums, they had a band up each end playing, and Guinness put on the grog. What do? Of course, for a free grog, you're into it again.
Yeah, give it back if it's Guinness.
Oh, yeah, no, it was very, very ugly. But so then no sleep again that night, got home about 7 o'clock the following morning, and we had to get on a bus to go to the airport to fly home. So we've got on the bus, packed everything up, and by that stage, I'm just absolutely knackered. And on the bus, got on the plane in Edinburgh, and one of the hostesses said, "Did you win a medal last night?" I said, "Might have." She said, "Oh, you're that Mike Scandolera. Would you mind taking your medal up and showing the captain?"
Only if he lets me fly.
No worries. They let me sit up the front.
Really?
Let me sit up the front.
That's
Yeah.
gold.
It was gold.
It
You're
was
exactly
gold.
right.
It was
Yeah.
gold.
So
what you
yes,
did there.
just sat up there and flew to London, and then swapped planes and just crashed and
Slept
burned.
all the way home.
Oh, I got home and slept 22 hours. 22 hours straight, didn't move.
Did you have any family over there?
Sounds like you, Simon.
No. Won't go there, will we?
No.
No. At that stage,
No family?
No.
Not married then?
Yes, I was married.
You were married.
My firstie.
Yeah.
Yes. No, but no one went. It was at that stage. It was sort of difficult. Mum and Dad, in '82, Mum and Dad got to come up to Brisbane, which was awesome because Dad died the following year, so
Yeah.
he was exceptionally unwell. So that was really awesome. And I've actually still got all their tickets. They come to every badminton session. And
Oh,
they
really?
were there on the night of the bronze medal playoff, and then we had a huge party after we finished, and I got them to come back to the party with me. So it was great. It was just a very, very special time to be able to share with them. But no family in '86. And actually, the really funny part of that is that they kept flicking from the badminton to something else. So everyone at home here, because it was so early in the morning,
Yeah.
they're flicking to something,
Yeah.
or bowls or something, intense like that.
Yeah.
And then back to badminton. And we got to 13, something like 13-8 in the second set up. They closed for the night.
Oh,
So no one here knew whether we'd won. No one at home.
wow.
And they didn't know until we got... They're ringing the ABC.
Brilliant in this
They're
country,
ringing
aren't they?
everyone. Oh, it was crazy. Anyway, they didn't know until I got back to our accommodation.
Rang
We'd
the
actually
alarm.
won. I
Yeah.
rung.
Mum, I
Not from
won the gold medal.
Yeah.
Hadn't had anything by that stage, so
No,
I was
he was
still,
all right.
I was still sober. But
How
yeah.
was the reception when you got home?
Yeah, look, it was...
Anyone meet you at the airport?
family. Yeah, all the family
Yeah.
met us down there. It was brilliant. It was just so good to catch up with them. We'd been away a long time, and it'd been a huge amount of badminton that we played. And yes, look, exceptionally eventful. And then I got a little bit of how a lot of the pro tennis players and that feel with that. Everyone knows you, and they think that you're your best mate because they've seen you and they know you. They watch what you do, and which is an awesome thing. But you lose. It didn't do my anxiety much good because you become a little bit sheltered.
Yeah.
But but it was also dealing with that notoriety, and I really enjoyed it. And my public speaking, I loved, as you can sort of see, love yakking a little bit, but it's things changed because you couldn't walk down the street couldn't sit down and go and have a beer because that just wasn't. I mean, you could,
Everyone
but
wanted to talk
everyone
to you.
wanted to talk to you. And again, which is awesome because again, it's part of that big picture that we were looking for anyway. Because that's what I've done. I'm not going to shy away from what I've done, but I want to go the other way too. I don't want to big note myself and make myself out to be something I'm just not.
Yeah.
So you wanted to sort of keep it as natural as you possibly could. But look, I really enjoyed it, and it did change that part of my life dramatically because it become far more hectic.
Yeah.
Far more hectic.
You said early on that you got more entertaining. Is that when you got entertaining after that, or
No. Look, I reckon it was probably. I reckon my early 20s. I felt as though that my role with the badminton was to entertain people. It wasn't. I just didn't want to make it about a badminton match. So the entertaining was the badminton. I didn't, strip down to bloody nothing, or it was the entertainment side of it was hitting a shot that might be a little bit different or out of the ordinary to someone else.
Yeah.
So that entertainment was to entertain the people who were sitting there and watching hit the shots between my legs or around my back or around my head or just something that was out of the norm. That with badminton, same as in tennis.
Yeah.
What Kyrgios does, those shots between the legs, everyone's going, that's not bloody tennis, that's ridiculous. But it's an entertaining. It's entertaining a crowd rather than 40 hit rally.
Probably frustrating to the purists, but
and I get it, but that was the individuality for me.
Yeah.
That's what made Mike Scandolera.
I think it's the
just
best part of the sport. Same as when it happens in tennis, everyone pisses and moans about it, and I'm like, it's freaking great. Because how boring is tennis unless someone? That's just what I think. But
no, but
if there's not a bit of entertainment there, sometime.
It's got to be fun.
Why, in a lot of ways, why do you think McEnroe was the way he was?
Oh,
because he
everyone remembers his
entertained.
name.
It was yes,
good or bad.
He got pissed off about a lot of stuff, but it was good or bad. It was still entertaining because it was you. Every time you went on the court, wonder what's going to happen this time.
Exactly.
There's
a bit of emotion there, and it's real.
Again, it's a love of.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily agree with what Kyrgios does, but you have to admit, he can hit a ball, and he entertains.
Yeah.
On whatever level,
Love
good
it
or bad.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Everyone's entitled to an opinion.
Everyone's got a lover and a hater anyway.
Look, that entertainment side of it for me was just making badminton something different, and that's what made me unique. And if that entertained people or gave people a reason to come and watch badminton, that for me is what it was about.
I like it.
So that was your last Com Games? You went to 3?
I did.
So ended up with 1 gold, 2 bronze?
2 bronze.
It's pretty good. You still got them?
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Tucked away.
Where are they? No.
Well, it's actually, I feel a bit cheated because it's a 22 karat gold plated silver medal.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah,
Still the same to me. Still a gold medal.
medal.
Still gold.
Yeah. It's not like you're going to cash it in. So.
No, not at the minute.
Couple more years of badminton?
Yeah, I had 3. Planned on going to New Zealand in 90. As I said before, lots of crap going on, and I separated, divorced, started up a new relationship, and my badminton, I was hoping to go to one more. I wanted to go one more Commonwealth Games. Would have loved to have gone to 92. We become a Olympic sport. And I would have loved to have gone.
I didn't want to ask that question.
Oh, sorry.
No. Sorry, no, it's fine.
So 92, we were to become a Olympic sport. Knew that it was going to be a stretch because it was going to cost an absolute fortune to get there. But 89, we flew to the Worlds in Jakarta, and it all just
Who's paying
started
for this?
The Australian Badminton Association were paying for it, and this is where this was the straw that broke the camel's back for me, because we were supposed to have two delegates go to an International Badminton Federation meeting, and I also heard a rumour that the Commonwealth Games, we were going to go 4 days early, not 4 or 5 weeks. There wasn't going to be any training camps, right, because the Badminton Association it wasn't being funded. Heard it as a rumour, and so on the flight over, I'd sort of got to a stage where, do I keep going? Don't know. I started to question things. And I just thought, so I called a meeting about 2 days in to training, and they had 8 delegates there from the Australian Badminton Association, where realistically should have 1, maybe 2. And so I called the meeting, and between players and the delegates, and asked them a few questions about what the go was, and all those rumours were true. So we weren't going to get any training at that stage. And so I was just going to make it really difficult. And so I got on a plane the following day and flew home and retired. So
Really?
that was sort of, for me, that's where I had that, I'd lost the drive, and I know there was a lot of stuff going on with me as well. But it was too hard. And so, it was exceptionally disappointing, but it was time that I couldn't keep putting the dollars in that I'd had. And if we're coming off the back of a silver actually, because we won a silver, CU, our number one singles player, won a silver medal. So we actually got silver medal as well, big picture.
Yeah.
So we've come off the back of our best ever performance, and the team at that stage hadn't changed dramatically. So we still had a pretty good chance of doing pretty well. But anyway, as they say,
the support should have been growing.
Well,
not
it
going
should have
backwards.
grown. Should have grown.
Bit of a
And
downer.
they really didn't utilise or deny the way that they should have, as far as take it out and sell badminton, promote it.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of personal promotion at that stage. I'd go to a lot of country clubs and do
Cashies.
well. It was cashies. It was great for me, but it was also good for badminton because you got people rackets in hand, and and it was
gold
it was
medalists.
awesome. That's it.
Can't get better than that.
So pulled the pin. So didn't make it to there, but a very good friend of mine, Murray, did try for the Olympics, and the run into it, he had to get his world ranking down, so had to do an exceptional amount of travel, and it was all out of pocket, and he ended up 36 grand out of pocket and didn't make it. Couldn't get his world ranking down low enough because they kept moving the goalposts.
Wow.
And absolutely shattering. Just spent all this money and travelled trying to get points, and didn't make it. But anyway, Rhonda Cater did. Kate's made it across. Kate's a local girl. She's from up at Strathie.
I do remember that.
Yeah, she made it into the Olympics, which is awesome. So yeah.
So 28, you're done. Burnt out.
Done. Yeah.
Had enough.
I'd just had enough. Like at that stage, with everything else that was going on in my life, it was, I just found badminton wasn't that priority anymore.
Yeah.
And just lost the love.
23 years of it. At the age of 28.
28, yeah.
And look, I don't have any regret of what I've done. I've travelled to an enormous amount of places and seen a massive amount. Through 84 and 85, travelled and played in some absolutely spectacular places. Interesting, again, played the French Open. Did I get to the Eiffel Tower? That would be no. Of all the places that you think you would go.
Yeah.
But a lot of the badminton that we played in some absolutely magnificent places, but it wasn't about what you were going to see. It was about the badminton.
Yeah.
Played a tournament at Wimbledon Badminton Stadium, not the tennis stadium.
Yep.
But it was never ever about travel to some great places, but it wasn't about the actual travel.
Yeah.
It was I was there as a job, and that's what I did. So
did you come home and throw the rackets in the back of the cupboard, or did you?
Look, I took 6 months off. This was very early. It was February when I pulled the pin, so I had 6 months off, and then got conned to play Australian Championships in. They were at Albert Park. At Altona in Melbourne. A mate rang me up and said, "Oh, come down and play the doubles." God, Christ, no training. Put on about, I reckon, 8 kilos. And, but went down and played the doubles. Made it through to the final. And I was shagged. I was done. Look, and after that, played a little bit, but never ever played in Shep, just the Shep comp.
Yeah,
and just
tore
had a lot
that
of
to
fun.
shreds.
Oh, look, it was...
Played left-hand.
They tied one hand to one leg, and
it was really funny. One season, this is early days when I was young and fit and stupid. I was actually a team. I played as a team up here. It was part of my training that I would do. So I played
solo against the team.
Singles, doubles, mixed
All by
doubles,
yourself.
All by myself.
No, you're just bragging, man.
No, it was really funny.
Now.
It was really funny. I didn't win. But it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
That's classic.
So what did are you still involved at all in badminton or not anymore?
No, look, the last couple of years has unfortunately put pay to that with this wonderful COVID vet, because we couldn't play. And I was sort of getting to a stage where I was starting to wear out. My shoulder was buggered. And the tennis was the same. I loved my tennis as well, and could hit a half decent ball.
Could tear it up on the tennis court.
But
I can imagine
I'd sort of get to a stage where I knew that I was going to end up doing some pretty nasty damage if I just kept going, because you weren't training with the intensity. Again, my sporting, I was going to say professional career, when I was playing at that level, I never did a major injury. Yeah. Yes, I'd have soft tissue injuries, which you'd work through, or get massaged out, or physio or whatever. I never ever did a knee or exceptional damage to an ankle or shoulder. I was exceptionally blessed. I had all my badminton life. I didn't have to retire from an injury. So that side of it, I was exceptionally blessed. After playing the Australian Open, we come home to play finals here, and I was playing Jonesy, and in the club championship here, and in the second set, bang, did my calf, popped the calf. I thought someone had shot me, because I'm looking around, wondering where the hell all this pain has come from, because someone's either shot me or whacked me, so that's what sort of those injuries then started, because you're not training.
You're not doing it all the time.
You're just not doing it all the time.
Yeah.
So, and then as you get older, the brain still thinks, I can get to that shot. No problems. And then your legs go, yeah, right. I'll fix you, dickhead.
So do you still have anything to do with Badminton Victoria or Badminton Australia?
No, look, I stay in touch. Pete Roberts, who's guy, one of my best mates down in Melbourne, he's the one that I won my first state title with. I stay in touch with Pete. Pete works for actually works for Badminton Australia now.
Yeah, okay.
Did work for Badminton Victoria for a while. So I stay in touch with him. But sorry, I don't. No, I don't. Just haven't sort of followed that through. Gavo, it's just been because we're up here, we don't have an enormous amount of, I guess, time to do all that. So I have, just don't.
Ben, I remember going back years now. It's probably 20 years ago or so. So I was still a young fella. I was about 25, 26 sort of thing. Mike would have been still old, but
darn straight.
Mike got invited to go down to Victoria training for their state training. So just because Mike's Scandolera, gold medalist, we just knew him as Mike sort of thing, just whatever. So I went. I wasn't doing it one night, so I jumped in the car with him. He drove down, and we were talking a bit about it, and got there, and I'm like, "Holy shit! These people think he is God."
You walked in with royalty.
He is royalty.
Yeah.
No shit. These people near bowed at him when he walked through the door, mate.
Yeah, it's
couldn't believe it.
Bit embarrassing.
It was freaky.
You
Like
just
I'm
think
like,
this is Mike.
This
What are
is
you
just
talking about?
Mike, man. Like, what are you on about,
It's
you
Mike
people?
from Shep, the dairy farmer.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
The sports store owner then, but that's to what, like to me it was just Mike, no problem. But these people are like, oh shit, there's Mike's getting there.
Well, I think that
Holy
was
shit.
it was that side of it that I had to keep in control.
Yeah,
It's not that you didn't want people to do it, but you there's the intensity of it. I keep using that bloody word. People had or held me in high regard and had great respect for me, which I loved.
Yeah.
And so you can't ask for more than that. You
No.
try and keep it all genuine and
Remain humble.
that's it. It's humility for me. It's key.
pretty good career though.
Yeah, look,
Pretty
I
outstanding, really.
It's massive.
It is.
I wouldn't change the things. You know, there's a massive amount of ups, there's a massive amount of downs, and all the in between. So I wouldn't change any of it. You know, another dimension of that. My wife and my beautiful wife and my three beautiful kids, and but that's a separate, completely separate part of my life. So none of it I changed. The badminton for me through all those years, it was exceptional, and I've got. There's not many people that you could say I can make, a dozen phone calls to anywhere in the world, and say, I'm coming over. Really love to catch up with you, and that's crazy. You sort of look, and now with the media the way it is, with your Facebooks and all the rest of the stuff, it's for me, now I'm showing my age because I don't know what the rest of the bastards are. But it's that important part. And actually, I just want to swing back. Very, very funny story. The guy that we beat to win the gold medal in the mixed, Andy Good, was one of my best mates in badminton. He'd come to Australia for 3 years. We'd played the Silver Bowl doubles. We'd won 2 out of the 3. We'd gone to New Zealand. We had a hoot together. Again, I'll just elaborate a little bit more. We decided that because badminton was televised live in Auckland, we'd made it to the doubles final. We decided to have a little bit of fun. So we dressed up. I had a soft pink panel in my shorts, a soft blue panel on the other side, pink shirt. Andy had a pink shirt, dark blue shorts, pink socks, pink sweatbands. We both had Mo's. This was that
era. Yeah,
one of those eras.
Yeah.
The porn mo.
Porn Mo. I was going to say that, but I just hesitated. I just let you say it. So I dyed my right side pink. He dyed his left side pink. And out we went to play the final. Just hid ourselves away before the final. Walked out on the court. This is televised live in Auckland. Well, you should have heard the crowd. Oh, my God. They went completely nuts. And again, it was this entertainment factor. It was just changing things up. And we absolutely blew an Indonesian pair away. We belted them in straight sets. Weren't supposed to beat them. We belted them in straight sets. I know why, because they kept looking at our kick going, you wankers, what are you doing?
Distracted them.
Totally.
That story doesn't surprise me at all with Mike. So.
No, it was just absolutely hilarious. Going back, Andy and I gelled. We're very, very good mates. Beat them for the gold.
So who'd you beat again? Like who'd you play off?
Andy Good and Fiona Elliott. And when we finished...
so he was Australian though?
No, Andy was Pommy. He was English.
Okay, yeah.
But he'd come out to play these tournaments, and we just got on like an absolute house on fire. So we're really good mates. When we beat them, I went over to him to commiserate, if you wish. Dropped me like a hot potato. To this day, hasn't spoken to me.
Are you shitting me?
Really? No, hasn't spoken to me. Absolutely hilarious.
You know that thing called Facebook, one of those media things?
Yes.
I would take a photo of your gold medal and say, I still got a dickhead.
I can't believe that.
No, it was funny.
Pretty competitive.
Oh, yeah. But the poor bugger had lost. Like they have exceptional expectations in the English team. They very, very rarely lose.
Yeah.
So throughout team and everything. And he just lost the doubles. It's the first time in a long time that.
So what you're saying is you thought he was something, but it turned out later on that he was a good, like he had a vagina. Like,
I hadn't checked him that close, but
no,
you used
but
to
that's
say
what
that.
it sounds like. How can you not be like?
No, look, it's,
seriously, if you lose a game sport and then do that, I don't care at any level. That's ridiculous.
No, it isn't needed. No.
And you haven't spoke to him since?
No.
Have you tried to make contact?
No, and that's the other thing. I tell a lie. I've tried to ring, but now with Facebook and everything, and it will be.
Actually,
I'll look
I find that
because
even harder to believe than when you were whacking bloody adults when you were 5. That's bizarre.
It is a little bit.
Yeah, it is a little
bit.
bizarre.
Spat the dummy and went home.
Yeah, took his dummy and
yeah. Sorry, I carried on a bit about that. But
no, it's all good.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we got home. You've been very generous with your time, Mike. So we won't be too much longer. But
all good.
Got home, started up a sports store.
We did. 86. Come back in and started up Mike Ron.
Oh, you're still playing then?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that was sort of a challenge through that as well. Just through those years in trying to run the store, because we'd gone from, I'd worked for Tommy Brewer since 1980, and then when we come back from the games, Jonesy and I decided to crank up and buy the old Maury's Hobby and Toys or something, I think it was called, and start up Mike Ron. So Ronnie Jones and Mickey.
There was 3 of you?
Yeah, Ron and I started it. And then we moved into the big shop in must have been 87, 88, early 88, I reckon. In Fry Street, but not up at the old Dean's Garage. It was in a big store. It was massive.
Oh, really?
An absolute ripper. That's where we amalgamated with Tommy.
Yeah, okay.
And then the three of us kept Michael going, and then a couple of years later moved down to Deanies.
Yeah.
So it was big adventure. Big adventure.
Got to combine your love of sport though with your everyday sort of
stuff.
So.
Well, look, at that stage too, the tennis was mad. We decided to buy our first electronic stringer. Bit the bullet. We paid then for our Babolat stringer, paid about $2,500. Now back then that was a hell of a lot of money and a big gamble. But we went from doing 20 rackets a week to 200 rackets a week and stringing them. So it was extremely lucrative. Very good decision to make it. And look, the store was huge amount of fun. We had Jeff Wilson, still a good mate of mine, who'd come on board and worked there. Look, some of the things we did and got away with, you just I still shake my head to this day. Just think, oh Christ!
Imagine him and Jonesy together.
Oh,
I sat next to Jonesy about a week ago, and he's still as funny as he was back then too.
It
was pretty funny times back then. I used to go in there for a bit.
Yeah, it was just a great time. That big store, I've hold massive memories. And again, I just want to share one story with you because
go for it. We love stories.
Jeff and I were working back late, and the stringing machines were up near the front window, and it had huge big panels of glass. It was a double shop at that stage. They've split the shop now. It's two shops. This was one big shop and huge big glass panels at the front. And we just about finished. It was about 9:30 at night. We just about finished all our restrings, so we'd shut all the lights off, and we're just having a bit of a yak. And this couple have come up, and they're looking in the window, and they're sort of not directly in front of us. They couldn't see us, and we've ducked down behind the counter, and we both grabbed tennis balls. And I said to Jeff, we're going to launch these tennis balls straight at him. You ready? And we stood up and we launched these tennis balls, and we've smacked this guy. Guy's got his hands over his face. Smacked him fair between on the glass. Well, you should have seen this guy's absolutely shit himself. He nearly died. And the girlfriend sort of just screaming, where the hell are these tennis balls come from? And it was tremendous. Classic. But it was just such a great atmosphere in the store, and all those years with Micron, just great memories. It was an adventure. Very good.
And you got 3 kids? Any of them play badminton?
No, well, they did. Rochelle's our oldest. She didn't play, like Mum. 13 left hands. Just can sing and act, but can't play racket sports to save himself. Can't play.
What about the boys?
Two boys were reasonable. Never ever took it super serious. Just played again, just because they enjoyed it.
Have a bit of fun.
Yeah, just have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
But they're more musical than sport orientated.
Yeah, okay.
The 3 of them.
Took their mum's talents there.
That's it. Took their mum's talents, which is not a bad thing.
That's okay.
One thing you did get to do out of the Commonwealth Games, you got to carry the torch.
I did. You might have the year because I can't remember. 2006 was 2006 because I was player liaison down at the Commonwealth Games in Melbourne. So, and exceptionally unfit, and tried to run, which they told me was only going to be about probably 80 to 100 metres, and ended up bloody half a K and nearly killed me. Nearly had a heart attack and keeled over. But no, it was awesome. It was, again, a great honour to carry the torch in.
Awesome.
And that's been, again, that ongoing thing with Orvale. Orvale Primary, almost every time the Commonwealth Games are here, Orvale would invite me there to have their official torch lighting at Orvale Primary.
Awesome.
And it was just such a beautiful thing to do, to actually, to think that people don't forget what you are or who you are and what you've done.
Yeah.
And I forget. It's
because you're getting old.
Yeah, that's you had to get that in there, didn't you, bastard? But yeah, it's not that you forget. And this, like, to do this type of thing for me, it's awesome because you forget, I guess, or who you are and what you've done. So to be able to keep sharing that, and that's what I used to love about public speaking. Going to whatever club or whoever it was,
telling the stories.
Absolutely shit myself because I hate talking in front of a big group of people. But again, once it all gets going and you sort of get
past that stage,
bit of it's great because it brings up, again, you remember that part of your life that you
part of your
forget. Life. It's a massive part of the life, and again, which I love.
And it's still entertaining people.
It is, and I guess with and that part of it, again, you forget how to do that. You forget that love that you had for it, and And so, but to talk about it, it brings all that back up again. So you end up with that smile on your face. Of
Get the
going,
feeling.
oh, shit, this is pretty good.
I got an idea. You should do a road show with Mike. He can get a wig that looks like he had his hair back in the day.
Where are we going on this road?
Go around and do public speaking and talking
I could try and grow it again for you, but it might take a while. It'll be a little bit greyer than it was.
I want to see the moustache.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
It's a wonder it wasn't in one of those photos that you brought up there
I don't
before.
think it was.
We'll add that in later. Okay.
Thanks.
Mike, it's been an unbelievable career. It's something you should be very proud of, and I think it's fantastic. 3 Commonwealth Games. You were also Hall of Fame, Greatest Shepparton City Council, whatever they call themselves, Hall of Fame.
Yep,
spat that out a bit wrong, but
close enough.
It's pretty impressive, mate. So it's unbelievable, and you should be very proud of what you've achieved. So, but we always finish the podcast with 3 questions. So
awesome.
Now's where you're going to be
now
really
I'm
remembered
get nervous.
for. So, first question, mate. What was your first car? I think you already said this, but
my first car was actually a HT Holden.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 253. Mate, went like the showers.
Do you have a name for it?
No, I called it a shithead because it kept shitting itself. But no, HT Holden, bought from a neighbour, and I spent an absolute fortune on the mongrel thing. But it went all right.
Second question, what's your favourite food?
Food.
Just in general?
Yeah, mate, it's a real weakness. There's not...
What's your go-to?
I hate to say it, but I reckon a palmy.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Boring as batch.
Yeah, I know. No, look, I've grown, again, because of my travel, Asian food. Love Asian food. Don't care what part of Asia. Love it.
Just food in general.
But it is a real weakness. Just love it.
You're still in good nick for an old voice.
Yeah, not bad.
You're doing all right. So, all right, last question. 3 people you could invite for dinner, any era, dead or alive. Who would it be?
Say that bloke that you beaten.
Yes, yeah, no, absolutely. All right, now this is going to be really obscure.
It's your dinner, mate. You can invite whoever you want.
Top of the tree. Wife. Top of the tree would have to be Federer.
Very good.
Hold nothing but the highest regard for the man.
He's a machine.
Can play tennis, but he's just a gentleman as well. And the way that he conducts himself with everything. A legend. Number 2. I'm, and I know it's tennis orientated, but John McEnroe, again, because of who he was, what he did. No, don't necessarily agree, but I'd love to sit down with him and talk. I've read his book, and I just think he's pretty solid.
Hope you want to cook some decent food. You'll go off his nut at you.
Oh, yeah, geez, he would too. He would too. And there's a guy who you guys wouldn't know. Is Lim Swee King, who I mentioned before, an Indonesian badminton player who I haven't had contact with forever. But again, he was a machine. And just going back to a tournament that I played against him, whenever he played for real, his legs were like tree trunks. They were like sincerely, like tree trunks. He was just so fit and so strong. But he would oil them for the TV. So when he was playing for real, he'd oil his legs. When I played him, no oil. Thought, okay. And he still kicked my ass 15-love, 15-1. All I wanted was 1 point. 1 point. And I got my 1 point, so I thought I'd won. I just thought, Yes, that was it. But he
flogged you, man.
Absolutely belted me. Now, he held the world speed record for a badminton shuttle being smashed at 386 k's an hour.
What?
Yes. Now, I just Googled on my way over
for
here.
a metre and a half?
No, that's yes. Once it stops, so they from when it leaves the racket, and then as it slows, that's where they take it from. 386 k's an hour, mate. I got hit by one, and I thought I'd been shot. It hit me in the sternum, and I've turned around to the crowd. This is part of this entertainment. I've turned around and said, "Is there a cork coming out the back of my bloody out? It's gone through me, hasn't it? It's gone." Shit, it hurt. I had a bruise there for 2 weeks. It hit me that hard. But current world speed record for a smash is, I just Googled it on my way over here, 493 k an hour.
Bullshit.
No, 493 k an hour. Yeah,
Really?
That's quick.
That's mad.
It is. It's insane.
So that's just technology that's got...
Technology and the timing, but it was set up.
Yeah.
Sweet King could consistently smash at 380 k's an hour, and honest to God, you couldn't see him. You couldn't see him. It was that fast. It was like a bullet. It was going.
Wowzers.
And yeah, when he hit him, they stayed hit. Anyway, so he's one that I would like to invite.
Reconnect.
Just to reconnect would be awesome.
It's pretty good. Pretty good top three.
I like it.
Had never had any of those before.
No.
So he probably wouldn't want to do Asian food, but he might go your palmy.
Oh,
but,
mate, he's an exceptionally wealthy man, so he'd be bringing his own chef.
yeah.
Don't you worry about that.
he can cook for you.
Exactly.
It's pretty good. Ben, who's your top three? You still don't know.
Don't ask me. Every
Unbelievable.
time.
Well, Mike, thank you very much for coming on Two Blokes from
Pleasure.
Down Under. It's been fantastic to sit down and have a chat and go through your massive highlight reel. I still can't get over that a 6-year-old smacked adults. That's pretty cool. So,
Can I just throw in, just very, very quickly, thanks, guys, for the invite. It's been awesome. Just
pleasure.
Opens up all those memories again for me. So
that's great.
it's excellent.
Love it.
Because you are getting that little bit older.
Yes,
You get the
exactly.
benefit of
Shut
those
up. That's
things.
twice now in 5 minutes.
You'll be
bastard.
able to listen back to this every 2 years.
That's it. Just as a reminder. Yeah, thanks. Can I take that with me?
Well, it's been a pleasure, Mike. So thank you very much for coming on. It's been great. So
Thanks, guys.
before we go, season 2 of Two Blokes from Down Under is brought to us by Ken Mustin Automotive. For all your motoring needs, pop down and see the team for Isuzu Ute, Ram Trucks, MG, Jeep, Subaru, and Mercedes-Benz. That's Ken Mustin Automotive, 215 Benalla Road, Shepparton. And this episode was brought to us by Syndicate Engineering for all your structural steel, stainless steel, aluminium fabrications, and even customised trays and specialised equipment. Call in and see Jeremy and Matt at 8 Enterprise Drive. That's Syndicate Engineering, delivering impressive design and construction. So there you go, guys. Another episode of Two Blokes from Down Under. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it, and we can't wait for the next one. See you later.
Bye.
2020 would. Gotta show him I can still rap though. Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the bag like yeah, I go